Hello you guys and welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about the interview process for the Disney Cultural Exchange Program from Canada. So I have all my notes here on my phone. In the moment I took these notes, so these were taken in Toronto right after or right before my interview. So let's just go right into this video. So I interviewed in January 2020 for the Disney Cultural Exchange Program in Toronto, Canada. Our program was unfortunately cancelled, but I was accepted, so I did have a successful interview with the Disney company. So here's my information about how the interview went and everything like that, and the questions I got asked. So let me stop rambling and let's just go. So the alumni got their interview request December 31st. So alumni are people who have done the program before. They got their interview request first and their interviews were first. So in past years, alumni had said that the new people applying got their interview request first, but this year it was opposite. So they had their interview requests on the 31st of December, and then their interviews were a week later just because they were phone interviews and they didn't have to travel anywhere. And then I was a new applicant, so I got my interview request January 10th at 2:13 p.m. I have down here. And you have to do your role ranking email as well as schedule your interview and schedule the city you want your interview to be in. So I am from Saskatchewan, so I had to fly from Saskatchewan to Toronto. But you also have to book that, and then you have to do your role ranking email, which is just basically ranking all the roles that you can possibly work: merchandise, character, attendant, attractions, food and beverage, everything like that. You have to rank it from low interest or no interest to very high interest, I think it was, something like that. 5 options. If you're not interested in a role, put not interested, because anything you do put like low interest or obviously high interest, you have a chance to work it. So if you have no interest, put no interest, but you have to do the role ranking checklist as well as schedule your interview right when you get your interview request. So I did that January 10th. And my interview was January 27th from 2 to 3 p.m. In Toronto, Canada. What I mean by 2 to 3 p.m. is you pick a time slot. So there was our presentation was from 9:30 to 10:30, and then there was time slots for 11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and 4 to 5. I was 2 to 3. So it's not an hour-long interview. It honestly took probably 5 to 10 minutes for the interview. But you go in and you sit in the kitchen, which was the waiting room. I don't know where it is. And other places in Toronto, they literally just put us in the Disney office's kitchen. And that's where we waited with the other people who were also in our time slot. Also with this it is not a group interview. We were all very confused as picking a time slot. If it was like all 10 of us who had that time slot were getting interviewed together. It is a one-on-one interview, so it's, like I said, 5 to 10 minutes. They just pull you in one at a time. It's just you have to pick a time slot so that you're sitting there and ready for your interview. Now I will be looking directly off my phone because these are the type of things we talked about in my interview. I was so prepared for my interview. I had printed off and prepped answers for literally every question that I could find that they have asked in the past, and I got asked like maybe 2 or 3 questions. So we first talked about housekeeping things like visa. Have you worked for Disney before, and have you ever had a work visa for the States? My answer was no for all of that. Bring your cover letter and go over your cover letter before your interview, because he asked me to go over my cover letter with him. So I basically just had to tell him what was in my cover letter and why I put it in my cover letter. First question was, why do you want to do the program? So make sure you have a good answer for it. Mine was, I think it is an incredible opportunity to work for the Disney company, as the Disney company is impeccable customer service skills. So it'll be great to make my customer service skills even better, as well as it is a cultural exchange program, so I'm very, very excited for the opportunity to meet people across the world throughout this program. And then I say start dates, because we had 2 start dates, May 11th and May 18th, and they say, does one work better for you, or do you prefer one? things like that. Then we ventured in to the CRP because I had also applied for the CRP. And then we moved on to top 3 roles and why I wanted those top 3 roles. Okay, so I'm editing this and I completely forgot that we actually talked about lifeguarding a little bit because I have 7 years of lifeguarding on my resume, so he obviously knew I was a lifeguard. He asked if I would be wanting to do that, and I said, no, not particularly. I said I would be more than willing to work it. However, I would like experience in a different field is how I worded it specifically, because I do have that 7 years of lifeguarding, but I wanted to move on and I didn't want to lifeguard at Disney. I would have happily, obviously, I would have worked anything at Disney, but I was completely honest saying, no, it is not in my top 3 because I am hoping to get some different experience outside of lifeguarding. Just thought I would add that in there because I completely forgot about that part. And then he had also done a program before. He had done the DCP because he was American. Like, my interviewer was American, and he had done the DCP, which is the original program. And he did quick service food and beverage, so we talked about that a little bit. I asked questions about that. And then he asked me if I had ever lived with roommates before and if I had ever lived outside of my house. My answer was yes to both of those. And then again, like I mentioned, we talked about the CRP a little bit more. We also talked about tattoos and piercings because I do have a tattoo and I do have quite a few ear piercings. So we did talk about that. I told him I'm more than comfortable finding a way to cover it up. I asked him 2 questions in this specific moment. I can't remember what they were. One was about his experience and his favorite part, and one was, I can't remember. It was something about my program, like, is there any role not available or something like that. I can't remember. And then we also did get off topic. Like, it is such an informal interview. Dress formally, prepare formally, but the interview itself was very informal because we were up on like the 13th or 14th floor, very high floor, and we could see down to Toronto downtown, and there was fire trucks, and like there was a scene, somebody was hurt or whatever, and we were like, oh, I hope everyone's okay. So we were like talking about the fire trucks for a little bit, and then we got back to the interview and continued on. But the last 2 tips I have is the presentation is basically just basic information that you can find on their website, that you can find on their Instagram, everything like that. But it is mandatory. You do have to show up for it. And lastly, I don't know why this is even in my notes, but I stayed at the Intercontinental, which was literally across the street from the interview place. So it was very, very convenient for me to just walk over there. Literally took me less than 2 minutes from my hotel room to get to the interview location. So very, very nice. So if you are flying to a interview, like I did, find a close hotel because a lot of people, I had watched a video of a girl who the year before had gotten into a snowstorm, and so she was running late for her interview because she had to travel, like she had to drive to her interview. So she was a little bit late because of the snowstorm the night before. So I didn't have that issue because I could literally walk 2 minutes and be there. So that is it for my interview tips. I hope they did help you. If I brushed over something too quickly, or if you do have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will be sure to answer them for you guys. But that is it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so I hope you subscribe so you never miss a video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.